and welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ellie and today's video is going to be my June reading wrap up. I want to apologise if you can hear the road noise, but we are in another heat wave here in the UK and it is too hot to not have the windows open, so I apologise if you can hear that. But June was a very good reading month. Every book I read was rated either 4 or 5 stars, which I think is pretty impressive. But I started off with a super popular book that I'm very late to the party on, and that was Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. I gave this one 4 stars. I really liked it. I'm not a typical dark romance reader, but sometimes I do just like to pick one up, and I really liked this. I know it is really hyped, but I didn't have that much of an idea of what this story was actually about, so I went in blind, and I think that did just really add to the experience because I had absolutely no clue what was going to happen. And I think this is a great entry to dark romance. For me, it wasn't particularly dark, but it was kind of like a humorous dark, if that makes sense. So we follow Ellie. She is a nurse and she comes across these TikTok accounts of masked men and she really enjoys watching them. One in particular she loves. He is our male main character and he kind of finds her through the comments, and from the comments that she leaves on his videos he decides he's going to stalk her. It was just like a really fun time, which was a weird thing to say about a dark romance, but I liked it and I'll definitely be continuing the series. Then I moved on to A Hunt in Illusion by M.L. Philpott. I gave this 4 stars and this was another dark romance. I was still in that mood after finishing Lights Out. This is a dark Cinderella retelling mafia romance and I really liked it. Our female main character in this, her mother has passed away, her sister is in hospital and her stepdad is trying to keep her in line by using her sister and her hospital treatment to kind of keep her in line and doing whatever she says. And our male main character Nico needs a wife. So our female main character, her stepdad tells her to get into this party that Nico and his family are hosting to try and find him a wife, to get some information on his family as they are rival mafia families. She catches his eye at this party, which is the last thing that she wanted, and he is used to women falling at his feet, but because she just kind of wanted to get in and out and not be noticed, she tries to run away from him, which he very much likes. In typical Cinderella fashion, midnight strikes at this party and Della, the female character, runs and he is like, I need to find this woman. But both Nico and Della have like their family is the most important thing to them, so with their families being rivals, what they want and what they should do aren't really aligned, so it's kind of a test as whether their family is more important than what they want at the end of the day. And yeah, it was actually a really good mafia romance. I really liked it. My biggest surprise of the month was Just Friends by Haley Pham. I gave this one 5 stars. I loved this and I don't know why I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. This is a small town childhood friends to enemies to lovers romance. Our female main character comes back to the small town that she grew up in as her aunt is dying. So the two dated in high school, but something happened drawing them apart and he had big dreams of going into the NFL, but he suffered an injury which stopped him being able to do that, so he is now living in this small town. So when our female main character returns, she does not expect to see him there. He owns and runs a coffee shop and Blair ends up getting a job at this coffee shop. There are big topics of grief in this with her aunt's illness and her eventual passing, and I felt that it was very realistic, very real and very relatable. I lost a family member myself within the last few months and I could just really relate to how Blair was feeling in this, and I think that might have been one of the reasons why I loved this so much. It is an absolutely perfect book to read this summer, and I think if you take any recommendations from this video, be this one. And I moved on to Love Arranged by Lauren Asher. I gave this one 4 stars. This is the 3rd and final book in the Lakefront Billionaires series. I have been putting this off because it was so chunky, but I just wanted to get this series off my TBR. Not because I haven't loved it, I have. I think I've given all of the books in this series 4 stars, but it was just kind of sitting there staring at me and I was like, I've had this for way too long to still be sitting on my shelves. So this is another small town enemies to lovers romance. There's a bit of a theme this month between Lily and Lorenzo. So they have a bit of a past and Lorenzo is running for mayor, but he is not the people's favourite and he's trying to come up with ways to get the town's votes. Lily is kind of known as like the people's princess around the town. Everyone loves her, and his like publicist come up with this plan that he should find a fiance because if he is seen as a family man, people might be more likely to vote for him. Lily also kind of needs some help with something, so the two decide they are going to be fake engaged to help him win this election. But it takes a lot of convincing because everyone kind of knew that the two didn't like each other. They have the expiration date that when he wins the election they will just kind of go on and live their separate lives, but they realise that actually they do have feelings for each other and it is no longer fake dating. And yeah, again, it was just like a really good fun time. Then I moved on to The Daisy Chain Flower Shop by Laurie Gilmore. So when I first started this I wasn't too sure on it, but the story grew on me as we went along. So Daisy runs the Daisy Chain Flower Shop in Dream Harbour, and the mayor kind of made this fake prophecy that she is cursed, which means no one wants to buy flowers from her anymore. So her business is really struggling because the townspeople believe that if they buy flowers then they will become cursed through her. Then we have Elliot, who is new to town. Because the shop is struggling so much, Daisy is just trying to find a way to get people to come back. So her and Elliot fake date so that people think that the curse has been lifted, because she has had a string of past relationships that didn't work out. So that's kind of like leading into why people think her shop is cursed. So she is trying to put on this front that she is in this really happy, loving relationship so that people come back and buy her flowers. But of course it's fake dating, they fall in love. It was really sweet. I really loved Elliot as a character. He was definitely a cinnamon roll main character, so if you love that trope then definitely check this one out. Only thing with this series as it's going on, and there's so many books now, the townspeople are extremely nosy, and I know that's like a big part of the story and the charm of Dream Harbour, but for me personally it is starting to get a little bit annoying how the townspeople are so invested and involved in everyone, but that could just be me. I did actually finally get around reading a fantasy this month, and that was Riftborn by Greenwich and Lennox. I was reading this during the first heat wave when it was like 34 degrees in my flat, so when I came to write my thoughts on this I think I literally just wrote it's too hot to think, but I loved it. This is one of those books, I know this is probably going to sound awful, but you know when you're reading it and you love it and you get to the end and if someone asked you what happened in that book you couldn't explain it? That's how I felt with this. It was very slow paced, which I think was great. The world building and everything was very clearly explained. So we have Fia, she has this power, they're called focuses in this world, and she lets out this focus. She has a very dangerous one and she is caught by the general using it. So he asks her to basically join the army because he thinks she will be a great weapon on the field against the wraiths, who are these kind of creatures that they are trying to stop getting into their kingdom. This story is basically our commander training Fia, and it is their story. I absolutely loved the slow burn in this. Like, the twist at the end I did not see coming at all. I have the second book on pre-order, and I think when it isn't so hot and I can properly focus on reading I will definitely be doing another reread of this one because I just loved it so much. And I finished the month with Lost and the Sewed by Lila Sage. I gave this 4 stars. This is the third book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. This is a brother's best friend, enemies to lovers, single dad, cowboy, nanny, romance. There are all of the tropes in this one and they are some of my favourite tropes, so I knew going into this I was going to love it because I loved this series so far. So we have Teddy, who is the best friend of Emmy, who is the heroine from book 1, and Emmy's brother Gus. He is a single dad, the mother is his daughter, they have a great relationship and they co-parent, but she has had to go away for work, so he is now left being the sole parent of his daughter for the summer, and trying to balance that and working the ranch is really hard for him. He doesn't want to accept help, but they suggest that Teddy come and help look after the daughter because their daughter just loves Teddy. They get on so well. Begrudgingly he does admit that he needs some help, so Teddy begins working with them for the summer. And of course they are forced to spend more time together. The forced proximity makes them question whether they really do hate each other or not, because they have two very big personalities and they kind of realize that actually it's a good thing that they're both so different because that's what makes them work so well together. These books are all quite short, so they are really easy to sit and binge. I wouldn't say this is my favorite in the series, but I also loved getting to see the couples that are in the previous books show up in this one, and I think this is a great series as an entryway into cowboy romance. So that's the quickest I've ever done a reading wrap up. I'm quite proud of myself, but I would love to know if you have read any of these books, what did you think of them, and what was your favourite read for June. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you soon with my next video.